When you get done, please. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Late Night with Kettle Kitchen. As you can see, we have a wonderful guest, friend
Hello.
of the channel with us tonight. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm awake.
I'm not seeing anybody in chat with us today.
What?
Yes,
Well,
this is
how
a little
rude.
different.
Does this mean I get to go back to bed now?
Maybe. We'll see how it goes.
I go back to bed.
So, anything new with you?
Same old, really. Just getting lots of videos made and put out and stuff. Getting a little bit more into doing stuff again, which is good.
Good.
Yes.
We are actually, aren't we? I'm looking. Hold on just a second.
Mm-hmm.
This time last week, we were talking about Last Chance Cook-Off just got done.
We were.
Yes.
Yes, and since then we've had Pumpkin Palooza.
And another Pumpkin Palooza and Croctober and
Noodle November.
well, that's later. That's not quite yet.
Yeah.
What?
November.
Yes, it is. Sorry. I apologize.
And November. Which
And November. And
yes.
Pie November.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what she's calling it. She's calling it
Thanksgiving pies 2000.
Thank you. I knew that didn't sound right. I don't know why I did that.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
And then we have 12 Days of Cookies coming up in December. We have a Candy Christmas coming up in December.
Yes, which I still have to ask about.
I think you might want to do that.
Yeah, I think I might have to do that. Who's running that one again?
The candy one is Southern Roots by Sherry, and the cookie one is Ashley at C&C Farm.
Oh, I mean the cookie one.
Okay, so then it would
I've already
be
decided what cookie I'm making for that.
You have?
Yes.
Good.
I'm not telling you.
Fine. I won't tell you what I'm making then either.
Fine. You be like that.
I will.
Fine.
You know what? Give me just a half second here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out. It just seems abnormal that we don't have one or two people in here.
I know. It's weird.
And I'm wondering.
Well, I've got the notification that we are definitely live.
Okay, so that's not the I was wondering if that actually was the reason or not.
America is on this weekend.
Oh, that's true. That's probably where.
So there could be quite a few people who aren't there. Hello! We have people in chat!
We have people!
Hey!
Welcome into the chat. We were starting to get nervous there. We have Mr. Dotson here. We have Redbird Farm and Garden State So and So. Welcome, guys. Thank you.
Hello.
We were just talking about the collaborations going on, and there's quite a few of them.
Just a few.
Oh, Prepping for Heaven just showed up, and Elliot, AR 1776. Thank you for showing up, guys. So they just got the message. Prepping for Heaven just got the message. He said, and he had to start at 1.75 speed.
Well, I hope you're all caught up.
Yes, me too. So, yeah, it's So I'll run through them real quick again. Please help me if I'm wrong. We have 2 pumpkin paloozas. We have okay, so help me with who's running them. We have one
Is Andrea from Digging for Health.
Digging for Health.
Hers is
And
run until today. So the
okay.
8th.
And then we have Mary Ellen over at Prepper Potpourri. Hers is full drop on the 18th.
Yes.
We have Jenny Goff over at Jenny's Scratch Made Kitchen. She's doing the full month of October, and that's Croctober.
She is.
And then moving into November, we have.
But we've also got Dovember in October.
No, that's in November too.
But my date's for the 28th of October.
Are you sure about that?
Well, that's what I got sent.
Okay. Well, let me double check that real quick.
That's why I'm confused. It's not that hard to confuse me at the moment.
Oh, me either. I mean, I'm not claiming I'm perfectly right, but well, okay, continuing on, we'll come back to Dovember.
Yeah.
But we have Thanksgiving pie collaboration, which is Carrie over at My Table of 3. We have Noodle November, which I and you are hosting. And then we have the 12 Days of Cookies in December, and we have
a candy
Christmas in the month of December.
Yes.
Wow.
There's a lot.
That's a lot.
And then there's everything in between.
Yes.
There's everything in between. So the stuff that we normally do is all there in between as well. So it's like, what?
Yes. Okay.
Congratulations catching up, mate. That's some good going.
Yes, it is. So what day of the month do you think you are in November?
I think, you don't quote me, I think it's the 28th of October. There's a lot of collabs.
Yes, there is.
So let me check the email that I got sent. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. Thanksgiving pies. Pie collab. November.
Mine says November is not until the month of November.
Okay. So mine actually does say October 29th.
For Dovember.
For Dovember. Okay, because apparently Prepper Potpourri had 2 days, but she's given one of them back. And so that is the day that I'm doing.
So that's where the problem is. I'm looking at an original one. Yours was a send out after that happened. I forgot about that happening. But it is November, just so you don't confuse that. It's not October.
Okay, because she's got in brackets October 29th.
You might want to double check with her because the one I have says this collaboration does not happen until the month of November.
Okay. Oh, gotta go to bed. Want to jump in here and say hello to everyone. Have a good night. Nana Aeon 1776.
Yep, that's Elliot. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. I like him.
Brenda, I know it's not just him who's confused. I'm completely like.
Well, now I know, but now I'm sitting here like.
I know, right? It's in brackets and it says OCT and 29th.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
I'm trying to see if there's another one I have that might say something different. So the 29th was prep appropriate. We all had 2 days,
Right.
but she gave one up, which put you into it. So it is. I'm looking to see the follow-up emails that came with it as well.
It's why I'm setting up a website for them all, Brenda.
Exactly.
It's got a calendar and everything, because it's like, wow. I've got
there
that
is a
many
lot
post-its
of
and pieces
them.
of paper and emails everywhere. It's like, I need a PA.
Yes, I'm with you on that, definitely. Okay,
I'm
so
not sure, prepping for heaven. I'm not
what was the
sure, but I will send you an
question?
email and double check.
I didn't see the question. I'm so far behind on comments, and there's not a
It's
ton of
okay.
people in here to be behind, but
It's okay.
straight. Okay, so I'm rereading this here, and it does say again, the collaboration isn't until November. So she must have typed in the wrong thing. So, but you may want to check just to clarify.
I'm gonna check.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna check.
again, anyways, that's the quick list. I'm sure there are other collaborations going on, but that's the ones that our group has kind of heard about, been in part of, or is full in on it.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's one in the art world that's called Inktober, and that's just an open one for everybody. And
True.
they put out an ink drawing every single day of
I think that's cool. I think that's cool.
Which is absolutely amazing. I've got some really talented friends that are doing that right now.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's just amazing. I haven't done it this year. Because, you know.
That's funny. So we have a celebrity in the house. Are you denying the fact that we have a celebrity in the house?
Well, yes.
Okay. Let me put it to you this way. Out of the two of us, who has recently been on TV? And it's not me.
I still wouldn't call myself a celebrity, though. It's not like people notice who I am when I go to the supermarket. Do you know what I mean?
That would creep me out, actually. That would creep me out.
But like when I did the back in 2008, when I went into the Home Cook of the Year contest in Australia and won I became the winner for Queensland. I was followed around the supermarket when I had my kids with me. And,
creepy.
You know,
creepy.
that was a little bit creepy, but it was like,
yes.
It was to be expected. And my kids being my kids go, you do realize that's my mum.
Yep.
Like,
I get that.
Calm your farms.
So Brenda asked this question: did all the prizes get claimed for Last Chance Cook-Off? There are 2 prizes that were not claimed, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do that, because it's kind of a timing issue right now with everybody's schedule, now that nobody's doing Last Chance Cook-Off. And we're waiting on 6 addresses on some other things. So me and Tiffany finally got a lot of the compiling done. Tiffany did most of the work. I'm not trying to claim over her, because that girl worked her rear end off. But there's some stuff we're still waiting on getting. So we're hoping, and she had to go on a trip with her daughter. It was a needed, not needed because she needed it. It was something they had to do kind of trip. And so we're hoping by Tuesday morning we can have all that stuff sent out to the various donators, and then they can start sending out the items. So and
also the ones, any winners, if they're from the UK, your stuff will be sent out probably after New Year's, because of the postal strike. We're about to get 6 weeks as postal strikes over here. So to make sure that nothing gets lost or damaged during that time, we're putting those ones out after.
Yes.
Okay, so after the whole of them having to play catch up and then Christmas on top, we feel it would be better and more prudent to put them out after New Year's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think you've had anybody say otherwise that they
No.
thought that was a bad idea. So
no, only in a tongue-in-cheek way, which is why they were given a cookie and a pat on the head.
Yes. In a serious note, though, it is, and I'll be honest, I've had a couple people that have, I really want to get my gift out. I really want to do this. Excuse me, I've got the burps for some reason. I didn't have them before we did the live. Once we went live, of course, now they all come on. But we've had quite a few people that have wanted to put their items out, and I get that. The problem is that we have to have a paper trail. We are talking 158 items that are being shipped out.
Yeah.
We have to. I mean, I have seen some giveaways that have only had 40 items, and they're struggling to keep up with who had it, who did it, things like that. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Cindy Brown. You're not late. You're fine.
You're right on time, just like a wizard.
Yes. Yes. So I don't want people to get frustrated or upset because they think it's taking forever. This was a logistical nightmare to start with that we have been able to navigate through theoretically pretty simple.
Yeah.
Barring that anybody would be starting to jump on us. Where's my item? So we're working on it. We're getting there. And we're just trying to make sure that we can account for and know who does what they need to, and we can keep track of it. So that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
So we're hoping by Tuesday we can start getting those emails out and things can start moving. Hi, Annette.
Ow.
She's making me blush. Look, I'm all red.
You're giving us a warm fuzzy. Stop it.
So, anyways, on the celebrity comment we were talking about,
yes,
I think somebody has something to show us. What do you think?
Well, I can do if you want me to.
Hold on.
You think you can put up with it?
There's my photo bombing hand. You seen it? So without further ado, shall we let everybody see your second episode of your infamous TV debut?
We can do, but what I need to let people know is that you're only going to see the parts of me. If you want to see the full episode, you need to go back to my live that I had yesterday. Okay, so where I show the entire thing. Eventually, when I can kind of get it working.
That being said, she's going to speed through the parts, so kind of bear with it.
I am.
Okay. So, all right. So, here we go.
That won't eat into your wallet.
Oh.
That is going to be really nice.
What have you done?
Before we start.
Yes.
Daily you already started.
No, I'm trying not to.
You're
just
fine.
keep playing.
Okay, I think it stopped there.
It's in my
hand. Before we start, do you want to tell people the name of the show? And
okay, so the show is called Bargain Brits on Benefits. It's a show that's put out by Channel 5 here in the UK that shows people what other people are doing who are on benefits to try and make their life a little bit simpler, a little bit better on an extreme budget. Because that's literally, let's be honest, that's what benefits are. They're an extreme budget. Okay. Right. So, yeah. Cindy, yes. Aw, sweetie, yes. And I know Prepping for Heaven was there as well, so, but it's all cool.
And just so people know, this is the second episode, not the first one. So, okay, I'm going to let you control it because you know what you're doing. So go ahead. Theoretically, you know what you're doing.
Oh, my dude. Oh, your faith in me is hilarious. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to press it.
Go ahead.
Town views, you've got countryside. Your home's wherever you're more. And the other thing is, if you don't like your neighbour, you can move, can't you, within an hour?
Mark used to be a landscape architect, but when work dried up during the pandemic, he needed a new career.
That's me there, the
So
fluffy
he
one.
submitted a business plan to qualify for 60 quid a week new enterprise allowance. A benefit designed to help set up and run a small business.
This isn't you, though,
And that
sister.
allows you
No,
then...
no, I'm trying to get it. I had to put it back because it went forward and then it went, thingy.
Oh, who was that person?
I have no idea.
In York, resourceful Pamela is a former chef who knows how to live very well on very little.
These are done.
From tasty treats that won't eat into your wallet,
That is going to be really nice.
to household acts to help you through the hot weather.
I'm not going to lie. That is bliss.
Pam's low-cost innovations can help us all enjoy summer without breaking a sweat over our budgets.
Prepping for heaven. I don't think he said pandemic.
It's the middle of summer and things are hotting up with our Pam. She's got a hot household hack to help in a heat wave and save you hard cash.
So I'm going to turn this into a air conditioned blower using some bits and pieces that you probably already got around the house. I'm going to take the front off. You want to do this when it's completely unplugged.
A single aircon unit can add around 24 quid a week to your energy bill, but Pam's hack puts pay to that.
You want to get the cold air from behind because the fans work to pull the air from behind to push it outwards. So if you've got something cold from behind, it's going to pull that cold air through to push it forwards, and it's going to be more effective than just blowing air over ice. So we've got 2 small pop bottles that we've used that have been filled up with water that are going to go on the back on either side. These have been frozen.
Just be careful not to knock your fan off balance, or it could fall over and bust.
These are really
It's
good.
by living in hot countries that Pam learnt low-cost tricks for keeping cool.
I spent a lot of years in Southeast Asia and Australia as well, with work and bringing my kids up and all of that kind of thing.
She has to be smart with money after a serious injury ended her career.
I used to be a chef. I was a chef for 26 years. And then I wasn't a chef anymore because I broke my back. There we go. Basically, I fell down some stairs while I was wearing an 80-kilo pack. It was devastating not being able to work anymore. Financially, things have changed dramatically. I've gone from a very high 5-figure salary to, I went down to £7,000 a year when I was on ESA, as well as PEP.
But Practical Pam is a dab hand when it comes to living resourcefully on a benefits budget.
No!
And now the moment of truth on her latest innovation.
Yeah, we're gonna plug it in.
With the cheapest portable aircon costing easily £70, Pam's cost a cool couple of quid.
It's bliss, actually. I'm not gonna lie, that is bliss. It works. Do I get my blue Peter badge now? Okay. Next. Hey, Rhonda.
Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. So we're watching Bloo's second episode of her television
The
show.
short version.
Back in York was savvy summer saver Pamela, and she appears to be in a bit of a pickle.
Morning. Shut up.
With the fridge fit to burst, she's on a mission to make sure nothing gets chucked.
We've just done our shop, but we also have a lot of stuff that we've got left over from the previous fortnight. So what I normally do now is I find ways to preserve that because I don't want it to go off and I don't want it to go to waste. A lot of the fruit and veg, normally I tend to do things like pickle it or jam it because That's money at the end of the day, and we don't want to be spending it on things we don't have to.
First up for Pam's pickle jar is this butternut squash, which is beginning to go a bit, well, squashy.
Basically, if it grows, you can pickle it. It's just about finding a way that works.
And once it's pickled, Pam can be totally chilled about when to eat it.
It'd be really nice to go with things like barbecued meats and stuff like that later on down the track.
First up, Pamela removes the seeds.
You could save these seeds for roasting or toasting to go on top of, just as munchies, you know, for pumpkin seeds and stuff. So to mix up with nuts and things like that. Or you can put them on top of salads as a little crunchy yumminess. But most of these seeds will be kept for next year to put in the garden to get more pumpkins. Or butternut squash, whatever you want to call it.
Seeds out. I bet this gets difficult now.
So with most veg that you're going to pickle, you want to salt it first, and it brings out the excess juice, so it doesn't dilute the actual pickle that you put over the top.
Salt, got it. So how does it get difficult now?
So we're going to leave that now for 3 to 4 hours for the excess liquid to come out of it. Then we're going to rinse it off and go through the pickling process.
Too easy.
Scoop, scoop, scoop. Oh, good grief. This is just, what is going on? I've lost.
You've lost control of your own video.
It. I don't know what I'm doing. Hang on. Okay.
Liver oil with your pet
Right.
would save you around 6 quid. Back to Pam, our high priestess of preservation.
Sweet potato.
Next up for Pam's pickling jar.
These are sweet potatoes, and I don't want this to go off, and it'll survive maybe 3 or 4 more days. So I'm going to pickle these, which will extend their life by about 3 months and give me something different.
Talking of time, these are Pam's top tips for how to pickle in just a jiffy. Step 1, slice and dice.
You want to have it fairly thin so it picks up a lot of the pickle fairly quickly.
Step 2, make a good brine.
So this is a pint of liquid which is half rice wine with vinegar and half water. So that's your main part of your pickle brine. Then we're going to add some salt, some sugar, a little bit of chilli.
Step 3, just bung it in.
And then once it's come to the boil, we're going to turn it off and let it sit for a couple of minutes. Anyone can do it.
Now that's not complex chefing, is it? For 3 quid's worth of ingredients, Pam will get at least 5 small jars of pickle, which would set you back over 13 oats to buy.
The only place that you'd be able to find things like this would be in an artisan farmer's market or event or food event or something like that. And you're going to get a little tiny jar about that size, and it's going to cost you about 7 or 8 quid for a little tiny jar.
Then, all that's left to do
Just going to pop that straight in there.
is for Pamela to put her peck of premium pickled potatoes in her pickling jar. Perfect.
If you want to, you can keep that in the fridge. You don't have to, as long as it's in a cool, dark place, like a pantry cupboard that's fairly reasonably cool. It should last you about 3 months.
Not with my appetite for pickle, Pam.
You know, it's so good.
Coming up, we go foraging.
Yeah, we can't watch this one because she does naughty things, and
And we're not into naughty things.
no, she picks some quite questionable things that could end up with people getting hurt. So we don't want that.
Okay. Yes, Annette,
I've
we
gone
are
too far.
looking.
Hang on.
We
Sorry.
do are. No, you're fine. We're all looking forward to Noodle November. Thank you for watching Noodle November. Did we freeze? Did I freeze? Hello? Okay, thank you, Cindy, because I was sitting here like, what happened to me? So this is now the Tony show. Anyway, I'm sure she will return. Oh, she's messaging me. Her PC crashed, so we're gonna hold on to that process. So what's everybody up to? What we were talking about earlier before all that happened was we were talking about the lives, or not the live show. I don't, excuse me for 1 second. Sorry. We were talking about the collaborations that are coming up. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second.
What is that?
Okay, thank you. He's a scooter, Cindy, so he wears his helmet every time he goes over there. So he's really good about that. Oh, he wants to show you. See?
Hey, buddy.
There's Bloo.
That's very cool.
So you are into crashing things, I hear.
Well, you know, I mean, it is the crack of doom, and my poor computer is like, why are you waking me up like this? Why are you doing this to me?
So I'm gonna go with we're probably not gonna show that again.
Well, we can do, but you know, I mean,
it's up to you.
And try.
Okay. If we lose you again when you return, we won't show it again. Okay.
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 Okay. I'll just see if I can get that forwarded through to where we need to be.
Okay. To the frozen spot.
Yeah.
I was sitting here like, hello, am I frozen too? What happened?
I'm really glad you guys couldn't hear me because I was saying some rather choice phrases.
Well, it is late night with Kettle Kitchen, so anything is
It
possible.
is late night with Kettle Kitchen.
Not that we tend to do that quite often, but it does happen. Okay.
Yeah, but I said more.
I'm all right, thank you. Luckily, we don't give bulbs away for free.
There we go.
Bob,
You're
you are
funny.
brilliantly balmy. Back with the queen of household innovations, Pamela, and she's got another hot weather hack for us.
It's been pretty tough, especially with the last week of weather where, you know, you also want to get some airflow going through the house.
But where others see problems, Pam sees a pound-pinching project.
So just to be prepared for next time and so that we don't get flooded with flies and things as well, put some screens on the windows because we can.
Net inset screens fixed to your windows are a smashing solution when you want to let fresh air in but keep pesky bugs out.
You can get screen windows, but it's incredibly expensive over here because it's not a normal thing, so they would have to be custom built.
Sounds pricey, so what's the thrifty alternative?
Scaffolding and debris netting, its proper use is for using on building sites to stop debris from flying into the off scaffolding.
This heavy-duty netting should be more than a match for anything on either side of the window.
It has a really decent mesh on it, so it'll stop most bugs from coming in. It's really strong, so it'll stop the cat from trying to get out, and it's not easily ripped because it's built so that parts of building won't go through it. So the cat theoretically shouldn't really be able to get through it.
And instead of a costly custom fitter, what are we using, Pam?
I'm going to use Velcro strips to hold the screen onto the window. It's easy enough if you want to open and close the window or change that for you to be able to do it. And it's cheap.
There's no flies on you, Pam.
So rather than cutting it to fit, because this is a very, very, very stretchy fabric, what we're doing is we have cut a piece that's too big so that we can stretch it across to fit the window. That now will stop the cat going through and stop the flies coming in. So, you know, it's a win.
That's one cost-saving insect screen, and it even gets the cat's seal of approval.
Hey, look out the window now.
Back in North London, trainee forager Mariam
Maybe
has
my cat would look at the door frame instead.
Hello, 1 million pumpkins.
Yeah.
Because it's a simpler way of living.
Pam has a hack for saving fruit on the edge.
These are done.
As the cost of living is rising...
Hang on. Oh, no, it is me. What the hell?
It is you. What do you...
It's very confusing me. Stop it. Right, we're doing it from here, okay?
Okay.
Back in sunny York, former chef Pamela knows that we waste a ton of dosh chucking out gone-off fruit and veg. Guess what? She's got a hack for that.
In good weather, when I have gluts of things, I put things out on trays outside to sun dry, because you just make use of what you've got at the end of the day. So if you wanted to do it in the garden, you can either go and buy bamboo trays, which is what they use in Asia, the round bamboo trays, and they just pop those out. Or if you can't get hold of those or don't have the money for it, an old cake rack will do.
Drying fruit instead of chucking it will save you a packet. And when the sun isn't shining, Pam's got a secret weapon, a dehydrator.
As much as it does cost a bit to run it, when you work out the cost of buying dried fruit and veg in the shops, especially with the prices that they're going to, it actually works out cheaper. So this does cost around £10 a day to run, but a kilo of strawberries to buy dried is around nearly £30.
Now that's a tasty saving. And this is how to hold on to your berries to get full bang for your buck.
So just layer them out. They don't need to be too far away from each other because you want to put as many on the tray as possible because they shrink. And once they're dried, you can blitz them into powders and put them in smoothies, or you can just leave them as snacks or whatever you want. We need to turn the beast on. It's about 57 degrees, and that's all it takes. It'll take a good 4 or 5 hours to dehydrate, may take less, depends, but we can just literally walk away and leave that alone now. Done.
I love the flick of the head you did there.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Welcome in, Jace
It's
Drifter.
complicated, and I think that's what, you know, I think that's what people don't, I think that's why people are kind of...
Back in York, mistress of the home hack Pam is about to get fruity. Remember those surplus strawberries she put in the dehydrator?
So these are done. So these will keep in a airtight container like a jar now for about a year, possibly more. I might want to dehydrate some of them a little bit longer because they were a bit thicker on the ends, but mostly they're done.
I'm more of a dried apricot man myself. But I suppose there's stuff you can do with strawberries.
You can add that to muffins, or cakes, or anything that you want strawberry flavoured, strawberry pancakes, anything at all. You can even turn it into sauce if you wanted.
And Pam hasn't had to fork out 30 quid a kilo in the shops.
I've still saved myself money doing this because I haven't lost the product I bought. And I've ended up with a new product that I wouldn't have bought necessarily because of the cost of it. So to me, it makes it all worthwhile.
Ka-ching.
Strawberry crisps.
Next time, Wiggins, Wheeler Dealers, Martina and Jay.
There we go. Ta-da.
Well, that's cool. That was good. That was nice. So
Yeah.
is that an Excalibur?
No, that is a buffalo.
I hadn't heard of that one. Hi,
Yeah,
Tasha.
a,
Thanks for coming in.
Industrial brand over here that's used for catering. I
Okay.
specifically wanted to have one that during the summer when we get a lot of the stuff come through, I want to be able to have it and it cope with running nearly 24 hours a day. You know, so it
Okay.
needs to be able to cope with that. And because it is a catering created one, it should be
Right.
able to do that without problem. The smaller ones won't do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody's curious, I want one of those for Christmas. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Just look at catering supply places, catering equipment places. And they, because all of those, it's very similar to an Excalibur.
It did look like one to
It
me.
is,
That's
it's
why
very
I
similar
asked.
to an Excalibur, but yeah, it's at Buffalo. So yeah, it's very similar.
I think it'd be nice to be able to do that because I would love to be able to do my own onion powder, garlic powder, like you did the strawberries. Have strawberry powder when you want it.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say this when it comes down to onions and garlic. If you are going to dehydrate onions and garlic, take the dehydrator, put it outside.
I already knew that. Yes. I've already heard of horror stories with that.
Okay. It is horrific. And that's personal experience. I did two trays of onions. And it nearly killed me.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, no. Yeah, no, I do like shopping at catering supply places. And the reason being is this. It's cheaper. Yes. Bottom line. You get better quality, whatever you're looking for, than in the supermarkets for home use. Because if it breaks while you're in the middle of service, the companies are not going to be pleased and they're not going to come back. The problem is with home things, you make them to break because they want them to, because they want you to go back next week and buy a new one.
Can buy a new one. Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So you get about, although it costs a bit more, but it's an investment then. It's not just buying something because I need to have this. It's just, what is this? What is that?
It's been up there about 10 minutes. I'm shocked you didn't see it earlier. Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
You know how it works around here.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And I'm with Jace Drifter there when they said that, you know, I'd rather pay extra and have a reliable unit. I mean, that's the whole point of what you're saying. Yes, it costs more, but the odds are it's built to last longer when you buy it through a restaurant supply place like that.
No.
Hello, Jen.
Sorry. But that's the thing. And if you want storage containers like for your pantry and stuff, because you've got lots of dry store and you don't want it all in jars and what have you, like I went and bought 2 and 4 liter
Night, Brenda, thank you
from them, which cost me a fraction of what the 2 liter ones in the shops would have cost, because they were selling them for £3 for £7.95, and I got boxes of 20 of them for 20 of those, 20 of the 2 liter, 20 of the 4 liter, plus 60 lids, which fit both.
That's good.
For less than it would have cost me to buy 20 of the 2 liter ones.
Right.
So, you know, it's about shopping smarter. you know, and being a little bit more, let's stand back a minute and let's go and have a look and see what we can find. You know what I mean?
But and the funny part about that is that really applies to a lot of stuff, because that's how I have a lot of people that'll say, you got a ton of spices, and it's like, I buy mine in bulk so that I don't have to put the expense up. So here's the difference. I can go into the supermarket and buy a spice bottle that big for $7 or $8. Why not go to Restaurant Supply and get one that's that big for the same price?
Exactly. And that's what I do.
Right.
I
Cost
object.
effectiveness is better to do it in the bulk.
Well, see, not only that, but it's actually fresher from the bulk supply place than it is in those little jars. Those little jars likely are already 12 months old.
Yes, that's the other problem.
Whereas if you buy from the bulk places, that comes in fresh, they have a high turnover, and you've got fresher ingredients for longer.
Right. I'm also talking about things that I use on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
All my bulk supply stuff is stuff I go through quite often.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Hi, Tom. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hey, Tom.
And I think it's important for people. I mean, you can't, I guess what I'm trying to say, and this kind of ties into your realm of YouTube, because you're the one that talks about budgeting more than I do. But it is a valid point to consider when you're cooking. Are you still saving yourself money and getting the best bang for your buck?
Yes.
And when you buy in the grocery store, odds are you're not getting the best bang for your buck. Even if you think you are, in the end, you're not.
Yeah. Yes, anyone can shop at catering supply companies online. Anyone can. You don't, I mean, even if you had one in your town, you'd be able to walk in and just buy whatever you want off the shelf. You find like, if you're looking for a decent cutting board, you're going to get better quality cutting boards there. You're going to get better quality cookware, like pans and pots and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, in restaurants, they have to put up with probably 50 uses a day and being smashed around the kitchen on a daily basis, and they last 5, 6, 7, up to 10 years in a restaurant with that kind of use 7 days a week. Right. So if you go and buy a pot or a pan from a restaurant supply place, you can be guaranteed that pot or pan is going to last you a lifetime.
Right. Hi, Chuck. I see Chuck from Life with Belinda, and Chuck came in. Hey, Chuck.
I think Drunken Chef.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We're just talking about the benefits of buying in bulk or restaurant supply or catering supply.
Shopping around.
Shopping around is your biggest thing.
One of the biggest things that people don't understand is if you want certain ingredients, go to the places that are going to sell those ingredients. So just for example, you want to go and get Chinese ingredients. Don't go to the supermarket. Yeah. You're going to pay a premium because they're classified as world foods. You want to go to the Asian grocery store, the mum and pop place that's run down the corner. Do you know what I mean? Yep. That's where you want to go. Or you want to go to the online ones and buy in bulk from them because they're getting it in. That's what their main product is. And it's going to be cheaper for you to do it that way. If you want Middle Eastern flavors to make you kebabs or donas or whatever, go to the Middle Eastern grocery store and get them. Don't get them from the supermarket. You're going to charge you 4 or 5 times as much.
Right.
Shop around. Be smart about how you're shopping.
Yep. And I think it's not even, you've already said it, but I mean, when you put the connectedness of what we're talking about, you can usually find a fresher product that's going to last a little longer. It's going to be cheaper in price. The quality is going to typically be better. And you're going to have it last you that much longer for the amount you do pay for it. Why would you not go to Restaurant Supply?
Exactly. And that also goes for if you want to buy large amounts of fruit and veg, if you're not growing your own, but you want to preserve, go to the people that supply the farmers markets.
Hello,
or the
Krubby. Thank
local
you for coming
market
in.
or the grocery.
Right.
Go to the fruit and veg supply places and buy from them by the box.
Right.
Because you're going to get it fresher because it's coming at the same time as the guy down the road who's selling it.
Right.
But he's going to have it sitting in his market stall for 4 days. Yes, we want to buy local as much as possible. Of course we do, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you're doing it for everyday use, go and buy from your local guy because you're putting food on his table as much as he's putting it on yours. But if you want bulk stuff because you're preserving, say, for example, you want to do your own tomato sauce, okay, go and buy 2 boxes from the fruit and veg supply place.
Right.
Because it's going to be cheaper for you that way. Also, look out for, if you're buying online, find out what their minimum is so that you get free delivery because every company has it. So wait until you have enough that you want to order to get that so you get your free delivery. So you're only actually paying for your product. Also see if they've got a newsletter. If you get on their newsletter list, 9 times out of 10, every month or every week, they will have a special item. And if that's the item that you want, that you wouldn't normally get, then do your shopping. So you go and do your shopping with the most amount of stuff to get free delivery, plus you get the free item. So you've probably saved yourself £30, £40, $30-$40 just by doing that. Those 2 things.
I seen up here, Tom had mentioned he bought 5 tri-tips a few weeks back for under $50. Seen one today for 40. Yeah. I'm here to tell everybody the prices are going up again on meat. They're not coming down right now. So if you can get it, get it.
Careful about stuff like that, and it's why we only buy our meat at one time of the year.
Right.
Really.
And then Cindy also said this, which I agree. If you can buy it from a butcher, you're going to get a better quality, a better price, usually. Yeah. So,
but also buy what you can afford. And if it's not a special event, it's just to feed your family, buy what you can afford and save for the better meat for the event.
Right.
Okay. It's like what Tanny and I do for Christmas. We buy half the butcher shop for Christmas. I mean, you've seen our meat list. We've got a turkey on there, we've got lamb on there, we've got beef on there, we've got pork on there, we've got a ham on there, we've got gammon on there. And he wants a hamon, which is the wind-dried Spanish thing with the fancy stand and the fancy knife and all of that. That is because that's our meat for 6 months.
Right.
We have a meat slicer. Now, this thing, I will tell you now, was the best investment we ever made, or I ever made, because I brought it with me when I moved in with Tanny. So, yeah, best £40 I ever spent was on a meat slicer. You can pick them up on eBay. And we just slice all the meat through that. So we get really decently sliced meat. We can pack it away in the freezer, bish, bash, bosh, and it's done.
Right.
For 6 months.
Right.
For us, it's 6 months because it's only me and him. And to be honest, he's the one who eats the meat, not me. So,
Yep. Another conversation I had today was with another channel, and we were talking about, and it was Ginger over at Not For Nothing Homestead. And we were talking about there's an importance of diversifying your food storage. Okay.
Yeah.
But it really goes into, and I want to give credit where it triggered me to think about it. You got to give me a second. I got to find it if I can. Right here. Annie said this earlier. It really ties into that comment there.
Yes.
It does you absolutely no good to worry about, I can't wait until I can get to the point that I can get a freeze dryer. Because if a freeze dryer is not within your means, there's no need for you to worry about that being part of your food storage system.
Exactly.
Second thing that goes along with that is don't store something you and your family are not going to eat because it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
You might as well just feed it to the animals because that's who's going to end up with it anyways, So the point is yes, diversifying what you do is important, but at the same token, don't waste money doing it either. Do what you can do. If you can go get a freeze dryer, by all means, go get a freeze dryer. I'm not saying not to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not in my wheelhouse because I'm not spending that kind of money on something when I have so many other alternatives to store my stuff. So,
well, exactly. And the other thing is the cost of running it.
right.
That is a huge concern, and it is a massive concern here in the UK, where our electric prices have gone through the roof.
Right.
Where people literally are choosing whether to put their lights on or to feed their families. Oh,
Right.
Tom. But, so it's not kind of the thing that a lot of people do. So during the summer of next year, I'll be showing how to do air drying outside because, people still want to prepare, preserve their food and dry it, but they're not quite sure how to go about it if they don't have the fancy equipment to do it.
Mm-hmm. So this one I seen also, they were selling half cows butchered for $900, which is insane, and it is. But I'm here to tell you from researching, not including shipping prices, me and my wife have seen prices anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 for a whole cow. Half of that would be $2,500 to $4,500 or $4,000. Sorry. So it's depending on where you're getting it. It depends on who you're getting it from.
Yeah.
And check for the better price with the best quality. Don't just settle for the next guy you find because you could be getting screwed is the easiest way to put it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Hello, Jonesy. Thank you for coming in. I seen something up here I wanted to. Oh, here. Safeway, which is a grocery store out here in the US. You guys don't have those over there, do you?
No, but they've got them in New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Anyways, they had a 20-pound bag of pork sirloin roast for 97 cents a pound last week. That's it.
I'll
it
be
is
grabbing several of those. Thank you very much.
and it might not be the best stuff, but if it's what you can afford, I mean, you got to weigh out the quality for the price you got to pay. And
but if it's about feeding your family,
right,
you feed your family.
You're going to feed your family. Yes.
And I understand that you can have all this fancy, and then as what it used to be was normal food. Let's be honest.
Right.
Organic, free range, grass fed, grass finished, whatever you want to call it, all used to be what everybody ate up until the 50s of last century.
Right.
Okay. When industrial farming really took off because it was at the end of rationing. Now, industrial farming methods were only supposed to be temporary until rationing was no longer required. But unfortunately, didn't end up that way.
Right.
And it ended up being the norm.
Yes.
So now we're having to go back and call everything fancy names instead of calling it food. And what we should have been doing was calling that the industrial farmed crap.
Right.
And the other stuff, the normal food, and normalizing it the other way around. But of course, agriculture is money.
It is. So I seen this one also, and Rhonda, just for everyone's knowledge, actually not just Rhonda, that is the normal price we have right now, $6.99 a pound. When it's on sale, it's $4.99 a pound.
Yeah,
that's the cheapest. Well, didn't they run $3.99 about 2-3 weeks ago? Yeah. So and I'll give to this, it is Angus beef. It's not just regular beef, but at the same token, $6.99 a pound. I mean, we went to go buy. We're used to buying 3-pound packages, not the chubs. I'm talking actually ground in your butcher shop stuff. It was 3-pound packages they had, and it's what was it today? You paid $25 for it.
Yeah, 25.
20. It was just under 4 pounds. It's not quite. It's over 3, but not quite 4. But it was 24, right? Yeah, $24.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it is a lot. I mean, one of the biggest discrepancies, right? You have, if you are shopping at the supermarket, you have to look at the prices and the labels.
Mm-hmm.
Look at them, read them, look
Right.
at what you're buying. Okay, so we wanted to get some mints, and because Tanny wanted mints. Okay, he didn't care what it was being made into, he just wanted mints.
Right.
So I went and I had a look, and it was £9 for a kilo of mints. And I was like,
So
I am not paying that. You can stuff right off. That's not happening. But on the top shelf, okay, was beef and pork mince, which was
right.
£3 a kilo because it was mixed.
It was mixed.
Well,
it wasn't.
I
Yeah.
grabbed 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah, I still haven't paid £9, but I've got 2 kilos of mince, and I don't care that it's got pork and beef in it. Obviously,
Right.
there are going to be people that have issue with that, but do you know what? It fed my
Right.
family. That's all I care
Yep.
about. You know, at the end of the day, it fed the family.
Right. I love what Cindy put there. Grass-fed 80/20 finished was $2.99 a pound today. Buy 3, get 1 free.
Okay.
Buy 3 pounds, get 1 pound free is what she's saying.
Okay.
$3 a pound.
Right. That's
versus
good.
Yeah, that's good because I'm paying $6. I'm paying $6. Hers is $2.99 a pound. I'm paying $6.99 a pound.
Wow.
That's the difference. That's
That's
what I was
pretty
trying to
good.
point. Yeah,
That's
a
good
good
then.
price. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's good for anything. I mean, whatever you're going to make with mince, prepping for heaven, honestly, you can do with like mixed meats without a problem. You know, you could do it.
And it actually tends to make it taste better
with it without a problem.
Sorry,
you know?
it tends to make it taste better when you can mix them together too.
Well, it does. You know,
Yep.
beef can get quite dry if it doesn't have a really good fat layer in it. And, you know, the pork in it is actually going to give you that. So
that's usually when we do meatballs, we'll do 2 pounds of ground hamburger and 1 pound of sausage. So
yeah.
it's a different texture.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just look at your labels, have a look at what they're trying to sell you. And then before you go picking anything up, have a look at the butcher section as well and see what they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And make friends with your butcher because they may actually have stuff out the back that they're not allowed to put out that's offcuts or stuff like that that you can use.
Right.
That they can sell you for next to nothing. If you're wanting to make your own sausages or make, you know, if you're trying to render down tallow, because they were not going to sell the fat, let's be honest, but they're still going to get it in. All right. So see if a lot of places will just go gold coin donation over here for a big lump of beef fat, you know, which you can render down to make your own tallow. Same with pork fat. So, you know, it makes sense to use your nails. You know, the pink stuff in between your ears, it stops your snot coming through your ears, you know, the brain bit, use it.
I thought that was just to hold my ears spread apart from each other.
No. Sorry.
I think it really comes down to what you said before and what others have said. You just got to really research what you're doing. You can find.
See, the other thing is as well, we've gotten really fussy. We've gotten
what
fussy.
What is that all about?
Picky. What was that about?
All I said was Winco is the bomb diggity. I love Winco.
Yeah, she's jealous, love.
My pumpkin pie hole, though, that's
at least it's seasonal.
Weird. Is that what?
Seasonal.
Okay, I'll give you that.
All right, so Jonesy was saying just before, They're paying $12 to $22 a
That's what
kilo
I.
there.
Yeah, that's what I showed
That's
up
a
on the screen.
lot. That is a lot.
Yes.
That is.
Thank you.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, I want people to don't freak out. There's ways around it, but at the same token, be careful what you do. Be careful what you're getting. Try to
Yes.
get the best deal you can. And
Yeah.
don't just go to the grocery store and say, boom, there it is. Some of us don't have an opportunity to do anything other than that. I get that. But just watch it. That's all I'm saying. And try to do it in a way, like Tom Garvey said earlier, he buys his beef in bulk and then grinds it himself. That's great
Yeah.
if you can do that. I think that's wonderful if you can do that.
I used to buy a half rump.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so part of it would be used for roasting. Half of it would be used for steaks, and they would be either minute steaks or a lump. And the rest would be made into mince or whatever else we needed. And it was the cheapest way to get enough beef for the entire month for the family that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And at some points, we had 16, 18 kids in the house.
Yes.
So I was buying a half rump, and that was doing all of us for a month worth of food. That's
right.
Yeah.
So the other thing I noticed on your live you did today, well, it would have been your yesterday.
Yes.
our today.
Your day.
You were talking about watching what you're spending and the cost of appliances.
Yeah.
You want to hit on that a little real quick?
Okay, so there's a lot of information out there that people are giving about what appliance costs what to run.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some serious discrepancy going on. So underneath my video from yesterday, or my live from yesterday, there is a link to the Citizens Advice Bureau appliance calculator, or appliance electrical usage calculator. It's got a very long name, but it is the thing that you can put your own information for your electrical appliance in and find out how much it actually costs to run.
Right.
Because of the electrical stuff going on at the moment, there's a lot of different newspapers that are putting out a lot of not good information, which is what I was trying to go through yesterday, showing these ones that really don't make any sense. And the one that I was using at the beginning is the one that is the information's been got from the energy oversight people of GEM.
Right.
So that was the one that I would prefer to look at, but still some of it didn't make sense.
Really?
Now, so for me, I'm not an electrician. I'm not an electrical engineer. I do know a little bit about electricals, enough that I can fix certain things and I can put certain things together. And we learned all about switches and all that kind of stuff. And we did stuff in uni and all of that kind of stuff. So I know a little bit about it. Little bit.
Can you keep talking for just a second, please?
Okay.
And excuse me. Sorry.
Okay. So, but it seems to me that there are a lot of items out there that pretty much do the same job, but depending on what they are, they're costing more electricity to run, which is wrong, because they shouldn't be, because it's literally the same kind of item with the same wattage usage and all of that kind of stuff. But the more that we seem to need them for basic living standards, the higher cost it is to run them, which is weird. It's weird, and it doesn't do good things to my brain. I'm gonna be I will admit that completely here right now. it does do very bad things to my brain when I see stuff like that, because it's not logical. Not just small appliances, big appliances as well. One of the major ones that people have been worried about, obviously, is the fridge and freezer. And the fridge and freezer apparently for a 24-hour period is costing about 63p to run.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're talking about a
Slightly
normal in-house unit that has both the fridge and freezer in it. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, it's costing around about 63p to run. Washing machines, no one really knows how much a washing machine is costing at the moment. The figures that they've actually put out don't make sense to me, because 5 years ago, I was paying more than they're saying that they cost to run now.
Wow.
For a load of washing. So, and I know that because we were on prepaid electric, so I knew how much it would cost me, because I could see the uprise in the amount of electric that was being used by the amount of money that was disappearing from that one item being on. So you can work it out. You used to be able to work it out like that. You can do it using smart meters and all that kind of stuff as well. But, you know, some of them just don't make sense.
Right.
They don't make sense.
And it's really confusing to hear your situation to our situation. I'm only speaking of my situation because I don't live anywhere else. I do know that some states or larger cities do have prepaid electricity here.
Yes.
We don't. Ours doesn't work that way. Ours is, I think it's kilowatt hours is what you're charged on, and it's just a rate system that they do. We're not down to knowing what, I mean, if I really wanted to push the issue, I'm sure somewhere along the way I could figure out what it's costing me to run my refrigerator. But we don't get that involved into it. We look at my electric bill went from $300 this month to $500. Why? And I want to know why now, and how come somebody's not paying for it. So there is a comparison in that, because we're still in all of us are in the same boat. You guys are far worse than we are from the sounds of it, but it's still an issue that costs are going up. Our gas was I want to say it was $4.49 a month ago, and I just looked today. I've gotten gas, but I need gas to get where I got to go, so I have to get it. I really looked at it today, and it's almost up to $4.80 a gallon again. Here we are going back to the $5 a gallon again. You know, it's and we get so complacent in everyday life, we don't see those types of things. You know, how many times have I gotten gas and it's been 10 cents more or 5 cents more each time? I just wasn't paying attention to it.
That's exactly right. No, I totally get it. I mean, like Rhonda's just said, it is weird because they're sold and say energy efficient, but they cost more. Okay, so I want to explain about the energy efficiency thing, because there is like a star chart thing on the side of most electrical appliances in this country now that have to have a energy efficiency rating. That energy efficiency rating is worth absolutely sweet bugger all. I'm not going to lie to you about that. Okay. Over 10 years, our fridge freezer, which is the highest efficiency rating you can get, we will get £13.68. That's how much
over
we're
10 years.
ourselves. Over 10 years.
Yeah. So in other words, $1.30 something.
And that was at the time we bought it, not now.
Right.
Okay, so that number is now probably about $5.
Right. If you're lucky.
10 years.
Over 10 years on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
it's a selling mechanism, that's all it is.
Mechanism. It absolutely is a selling mechanism.
Yes.
You know, it's just knowing and doing your own research. Once our solar shed is up, refrigeration and freezers will be free. That's brilliant. See, we have solar panels here. We are incredibly lucky. We have a solar array on our roof. Now, we are very lucky to have that. Most places that have solar. It's one solar panel and it's to run your hot water.
Yeah. Hello, Nora.
Whereas
Thank you for
ours,
coming.
yeah, it literally gives us electric or any time of the day that there is it's producing electric. So
Right.
yeah, obviously during winter that's going to be a lot less time.
But you still will have time that you can use it.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
just got to figure out where that's at, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. But hey, Stock Explorer.
Really, I guess where I'm trying to get to and why I went down this semi-rabbit hole, we'll call it, okay, is it really all comes back to the same thing in what I just said as far as the gas and what we were talking about, the meat and all that. And we got to be cognizant of our surroundings, whether those are the environment we're in, the prices we're paying, or the locations we're getting goods from. You need to start watching it if you haven't started watching it already. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to do it 100% of the time. But when I do realize it, it gives me a jolt of fear because it's like, wait a second, if it's happening there, I know it's been happening there. And then I go through the grocery store and buy 5 things and can't figure out why it cost me $50 all of a sudden when it was $20, 2 months ago.
I would say don't let the fear get you.
No, but you need to be conscious of it at the same time.
Be conscious of what's going on and act appropriately.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
If you live in fear, you will be highly anxious, completely anxious about everything, and you won't be able to process what you need to do or what you can do around you properly.
I'll give you an example of that, and I know exactly what you mean. Okay, this is a fluffy way to look at it, but let's fluff away, okay?
Wait,
and
did someone say we were fluffy?
No. I'm implying I'm fluffy on my own, okay?
Okay.
And you already know this because I already told you this the other night. So my kids love ice cream. They get ice cream every other night, every 2-3 nights. And they have a little bit, no big deal. Point is, we usually have 2 or 3 of the half gallons of ice cream here in the house so they can have it. Okay, I indulge myself once in a while, but usually it's for them. Neither here or there, sorry. I went to go get it the other day, and the ice cream that we normally buy, instead of it being, I think it was usually $4.69 a container, it's almost $9 a container. Okay, so relating it back to what we just said, I went into fear mode. I'm like, oh my Lord, what the hell is going on? And then, like you said, don't let yourself live by fear. Oh, there's one right there. I've never used the brand, but I don't really care because it's half that price. I'm going to grab that one. Manipulate your situation so you can make it through it. It's not that big of a deal.
And then what you do is you say to yourself, right, so on the list of things that we need long term, we're going to get an ice cream maker. But on top of that, we're going to teach ourselves to make it without the ice cream maker, because if the lights do go out, we can still have ice cream.
I'll go with that thought process, yes.
Okay, so that's when my thought process goes, right? So the thing that I normally
I will never see my kids doing it the old style way. That's all I'm laughing about.
It's fun as hell. I'm like, you can do it, right? Okay, so you guys have those big coffee can things, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so if you get a great big coffee can thing, fill it up with ice and put another smaller can in there with your ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Stick it on the kids' bikes and get them to go and ride around the block. They've just made ice cream. Or you get them to kick it around the yard and play kick the can around the yard, and they've just made themselves ice cream. They don't have to stand there and churn it. They
Cindy
can have
just
fun
dropped
while
you
they're
something.
doing it. Yeah, I don't like Ziploc bags that much. But whatever works for you is,
my point is, and really coming back to it, and your point then to follow it even a step further is, you are right. Don't live in fear. Just manipulate what you have to, fix what you have to, because in the honesty of it, I would have just done without the ice cream at $9 a container.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how I would have manipulated around that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I
But
just
why
so
should you
happened to
do
find it.
without? Do you know what I mean?
Say that again.
So why should you do without?
Well,
That's
especially
the
when I
other
was
thing.
able to find it at the price I was used to paying, no big deal. It was just a different brand. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving over, though, is if you can keep running into those situations where you force yourself to learn how to do it a different way on your own, cheaper, without having to go to the grocery store to get it, that's even better.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
So,
that's where you take advantage of when you see dairy on offer.
right.
If you see marked down cream or milk, buy it up, stick it in the freezer.
Yeah.
Use
I
it when you need
personally
to or when you want
can't.
to.
Right.
But
I personally don't. I personally can't drink frozen milk because I had to, and there was issues along the way with it.
I get
But
it.
that doesn't mean I won't use it for cooking, baking, things like that.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, you can still make cheese from it.
right, right.
You
There's
know,
a lot
you
of
can
things
still
you can
make
do
ice
with
cream
it.
from it. You can still
Yep.
make sauces from it. You can
Yep.
still do all sorts of things with it, but it's only cost you a fraction of what it was going to, because you've got it off the whoops shelf. Do you know what
Correct.
I mean?
Yep. I get you. I
And if
do.
you guys don't know what the whoops shelf is, over here, our markdown labels have got whoops written on them.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so anything that's been reduced and put on the reduced shelf is called a whoops, because it's only got a short date on it.
That's funny.
So yeah, we call them the whoops shelf.
I love it. I love it.
I wish I could
So
buy raw milk around here, and actually I probably could. I've just got to look harder.
I was going to say you would think you would be able to.
Yeah, but it's more sheep country up here.
Drink
See, that's
sheep's
the other
milk.
thing. If you've got sheep farmers around you, I can absolutely guarantee that you can get free wool from them, or very, very cheap wool from them.
Why is that?
Because wool has bottomed out. People want the polyfiber blends more than they want wool. So there's so many free things that you can do with your own wool. Obviously, if you're going to use it for making clothes and stuff, do it. You know, you can teach yourself to spin, teach yourself to weave, make your own fabrics, knit, crochet, do whatever you want with it,
Right.
make felt. You've got all those options. But then again, it works to make, you know, look after your gardens in winter.
Right.
It works as a mulch.
Yep.
In winter.
I didn't know that until I think you told me that in the beginning of the gardening season. We were talking about mulching.
Yeah. But that's what a lot of people are doing with it. But most of it is ending up on people's compost heap because they can't find a market for it.
Right. Rhonda says she misses mutton.
I miss mutton. But I have to go to certain butchers to get it. I can get it. You've just got to go and get them from places like halal butchers. You can get mutton from. And it's cheaper than lamb. Just saying. And hogget is even better again because it's had another year to live. And it's really got some deep flavor in it.
Okay. I know I've
Yeah.
asked you this a million times, but run down the list of what each of those are.
Okay. Lamb is supposed to be 12-month-old sheep.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be any earlier than that, but what we're getting in the shops is somewhere like anywhere under 3 months.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Which is why the legs have gone from this big to that.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
So our normal leg of lamb when we grew up was about this size.
Yeah.
Which would feed the family of 4 for a week. Happily.
Okay.
Now they're this size and they're charging like £21 for a leg of lamb. Because they're just getting rid of them. So a lamb is supposed to be processed at 12 months old, not any sooner than that, because also the flavor's not developed, let's be honest.
Okay.
At 2 years old, they become mutton. So
2
it's a
years
sheep
old.
then,
Okay.
and it's become mutton.
Right.
And it should be done at 2 years. Hogget is 3 years old. So sheep at 3 years old,
Okay.
anywhere between 3 and 5, and that would be Hogget.
And you
So they've
think
had
that's the
time
one
to-
that's got a good developed flavor?
Yeah, great developed
Okay.
flavor.
Okay.
You know. So
And
yeah,
then remind me, what is haggis again?
haggis.
Yeah.
Is a sheep's stomach and all the bits that everyone gets fussy about that they don't want to eat shoved in made a sausage.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a
And
sausage.
mixed with oatmeal. Yeah.
Oh, it does have oatmeal. That's right. I forgot
They'll have
about that.
oatmeal in it and lots and
Yeah.
lots of pepper.
Tom says they're 2 pounds. He's in Las Vegas, I think,
Yeah.
if I remember right. He says 2 pounds of lamb right now is $64.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, Britain has a lot of sheep. We've
Mhm.
got probably as many sheep as we have people. So to be charging anywhere upwards of 20 to 30 pounds for a leg of lamb is ridiculous.
Right.
Absolutely ridiculous. Now,
So here,
the price upwards that I've seen, and this started back probably when my kids were little, and I want to say 20 years ago.
okay.
When there were major droughts in Australia. Now, the supermarkets were buying lamb from the farmers for $1 a head, but charging the public $27, $29 a kilo
What?
for the meat. So you had farmers that were going bankrupt
Right.
and supermarkets that were going through the roof. Now, those prices never really properly dropped. They've been bouncing around anywhere between $15 and $25 a kilo ever since. Now, the thing is, because one country got away with it,
Right.
New Zealand followed suit, and so did the UK.
Right.
So now we've got a situation where supermarkets wrongly ripped off the farmers and are still doing it and charging stupid amounts on top,
Right.
you know, which they shouldn't be doing. It's just wrong.
Right.
So this is also what happened, like during the hurricanes in Australia. There were major cyclones in Australia not that long after the lamb thing. There were cyclones that went through and devastated the banana belt in Australia.
Okay.
So what happened was that Australia started importing bananas from Fiji.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were anywhere between $15 and $18 a kilo instead of about $2.
Right.
But then what we ended up with, what we called the banana millionaires, because not only did they have their own insurance that covered the cost of the loss of the crops, but they also had government help, which was also the same amount as their own insurance. So they got paid twice. And then, because they weren't literally allowed to sell their bananas because they were having to import them from Fiji because apparently their bananas weren't worth buying, they were selling them at the farm gate.
Oh, geez. And Tom's right. It's greed. That's what's overwhelming.
It is greed.
It is.
It is greed. But it's not the farmer's greed. You know, I mean, yes, in the case of but that was pure opportunism.
Right.
It was pure opportunism. You went on the part of the banana farmers. And, you know, if anyone else was in that situation, don't you dare turn around and tell me that you wouldn't have taken the money and gone, thank you very much.
Right.
Because you would have, you know, you would have. So
this is Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But the point was the bananas were still good, but they weren't shop good. And because the crop had been written off by the insurance companies, the only place they could sell them was at the Cutter's Farm gate.
Right.
So, yeah.
This, I think the more people need to do that. Go to, I don't know about you guys over there, but we have the 4-H organization here, and it is a good resource to buy the animals at a cheaper price.
Yeah.
Because you're helping the program and the child that's selling it. So
right, okay.
It's usually a sponsored animal, and then they then sell them off after they're done doing what they're doing with it. So I think, that is a valid point.
Yeah.
And this is true. I mean, in the last 20 years, that greed is just exponentially
people have
grown.
gotten used to it. That's the problem. Over a certain amount of time of certain things being done, people get used to it as being the new normal.
Right.
And that's where the issue lies, because people become complacent and they're going, yeah, but it's been what it's been.
Right.
Or they're giving the old arguments from 20 years ago. Yeah, but there's been a drought. Yes, there's been a drought, but that was 20 years ago. Hello.
Yeah.
Right. Since then, a lot of the farmers have got breeds of sheep and cows, etc., in Australia that are actually drought tolerant, that are more from the Middle Eastern side of the world and Africa and places like that. So you're going to find more of those types of animals than you are going to find European animals that just don't cope with the level of heat and
So
it is the way to go, though, Annie, to be honest, because it is cheaper. I mean, it's cheaper in the long run, because if you're, okay, so the argument is that processed foods are cheaper. The ready-made and processed foods are cheaper than the ingredients to buy them. And in many cases, that is absolutely true. Okay. And I'm not going to lie about that. And that is an argument that we can have another time. And it's a discussion we can have another time. But if you eat whole foods and whole grains and that kind of thing, and less processed, it actually fills you up better. And you don't get hungry as quickly because there's more in it, and your body can process it better, and it's able to, do what it needs to do. It's going to be healthier.
Right. I think the unfortunate part. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's one of those things that has really stumped me over time, and I understand why it happened. To a point, I understand why it happened. At some point, I want to say 70s, 80s into 90s, something like that. I noticed it, and granted, where I'm at right now is no resemblance of where I was back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
The push by, I'm choosing my words very carefully here, but just go with the flow of the conversation. The push behind the establishment, or whatever that entailed, was eat your fruits and vegetables, eat your grains, eat your this, eat your that. Okay. That was even our food pyramid demonstrated those things. Okay. The problem they weren't telling us back at that point was, nothing white though. Don't eat white bread, white sugar, starchy foods that are white, white rice, things like that. We went through the 70s and 80s thinking that was the way to do it, because that's what we got told to do.
Yeah, because it was cheap.
Because it was cheap. That was that's where I'm getting to.
Yeah.
It's almost like the establishment created its own problem.
Yes. See, back in Victorian England, okay, when they first started having white flour for bread, because it was cheaper for the people, the hungry masses, they discovered very quickly that there was very little nutrient value in it. So it became law that a third of the bran removed from the grain of the white to make the white flour had to be put back into the bread. And that was law.
I don't get that. I don't get why you would do that intentionally.
They had to do it because they realized very quickly that it had no nutrient value in just the white flour. So they put the parts of the grain back in.
No, I mean, why would you strip it out? Because
But it's no longer law. I can tell you that now.
No.
Okay.
So that's the backwards end of the backwards we were going. But the point I'm trying to get to is, you know as well as I do, when they went and decided that it was all white, not putting the third back, they knew that it had no nutrient value. This is not something they did not know. You know that as well as I do. So why would you do that? Because if you're trying to push that, then why would you? But what I'm trying to get to is now we're in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, and we have a major obesity problem in this country. You know, I know you guys have the same issue in some, depending on who we're talking about. The problem I'm getting at, and now people want to fix it, their insurance won't cover it. They got to lose too much weight before we can help you. You got to do this before. Wait a second, you created this problem.
Yes.
Why are you not fixing this problem, especially when you got people that want to do it?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
See, the other part of this is as well that, I don't know if you guys have watched a film called What the Health. It's on Netflix. You can watch it for free on Netflix. It's called What the Health. You want to know what's going on with your food and who's behind it and why? Watch it.
Yep.
Okay.
Here's an honesty, and we've had this conversation before. Convenience has also driven people. They want the quick, the now, and they don't want to have to wait an hour for their lasagna dinner to cook. They want it cooked in 20 minutes so they can go to eat and move on to what they're doing. Okay. We lost that where dinner time was at the table at a specific time every night. We don't do that anymore, generally speaking. Okay. We've gotten used.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so this is basically the thing, right? We have got for some reason, our inflation has gone up so extraordinarily high over the last 20 years, actually 20, 30 years. It's gone up extraordinarily high, at highest rate it's ever been, ever in history. Okay. When I had my son back in 1991, I lived with my parents in a 3-bedroom house that was semi-detached with a very beautiful garden, a separate garage, etc., and a front garden. It was all landscaped and all of this kind of thing. £50 a week was the rent. £50 a week. See, it's £200 a month.
Right.
You couldn't rent one of those rooms now for that.
No. And here is exactly the reason why those two tie together.
Okay, partly it is because it's all by design. It's just really bad, and it's a rabbit hole. It really is a rabbit hole, and you can go down, get lost down in it really, really badly. Okay, so basically, inflation jumped so much that both adults in the house had to go to work. There was no choice. Had to happen. Right. That happened during a recession because mortgage rates went up so high that people, one income couldn't suffice paying the mortgage and paying the bills and doing all of the things. Right? So
Sorry, I'm just putting comments up. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah. So then we had to have convenience foods because one or other of the parents wasn't home anymore,
right,
to cook.
But there's almost
TV dinners came out because it was like, well, mum's at work, dad's at work. Who's gonna cook?
But as time progressed with that process of mom and dad having to go to work because inflation went up, then we almost transversed into, you got two incomes coming in, but guess what? Now we have 3 kids. So now childcare is going to consume almost all of one of those wages in itself in a month's time.
Yeah.
So the reason you went is no longer the benefit you're getting, and now you're paying out an additional bill that's not covered by any income coming in. It's just been a snowball, a domino, whatever word you want to use, effect.
It is.
And it's killing people financially.
You know, and
literally
put money into things that they don't have to put money into. Okay, so inner city schools, etc., used to get sponsored by fast food chains like McDonald's and KFC and such like that.
Right.
So they used to put the food in the canteens. You know, that's why high schools and primary schools have all got vending machines in them. Because they're the ones, you know, Coke and Pepsi and all of that, they're sponsoring the school because they've got the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is, but see, it also gets kids addicted to your food because they know what they're having. So they don't want to, you know, so you've started off young, they've had Macca's every day for the Macca's and KFC every day for the, you know, their entire school life. They won't want to eat anything else.
They don't, no.
You know? But this is the issue. And not only that, but they were creating the textbooks as well.
I was blown away when you told me about that. I was just literally shocked and blown away when you told me that.
Yeah. There is a book, and I need to remember where it is. I have a book on this it explains everything from the start of fast food chains and what they did and what they were doing to art. And it was a plan. The whole thing was a plan.
Here's where my problem is, and a lot of people, I'm not trying to drag this into a political conversation. The reality for me, though, is that it really comes down to what Tom Garvey said. It's corporate greed. We've allowed corporations to control too much, at least in this country, I'm assuming in yours and others as well.
Yeah.
And they control everything.
Yeah.
There is no longer truth and the right way to do things because it's controlled by corporations. That's who controls the world, and let's be honest. The problem is
corporations either, it's organizations.
It's not just what?
It's not just corporations, it's organizations.
No. Let's lump them all together because I do agree with you in that. And lobbyists. Those are the other problems we've had. Now, at least here in the U.S., that's been an issue that we've dealt with.
There are over 200 additives in your food that are illegal in this country, and nearly 300 of them that are illegal in Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
In your foods, in the States.
In my food specifically?
Well,
are you
allowed to be put in the food.
Are you trying to kill my food off
in the US?
You don't like my food?
Let's be honest, I haven't tasted your food, mate. I couldn't tell you.
Touche. I'll go with that one. I will go with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is that people are used to takeaways being a normal thing. You know? They didn't used to be a normal thing. I mean, when I grew up, if my dad wanted to go, right, okay, so here we go. This is, if my parents wanted Chinese takeaway, they had to take their own pots and pans to the shop. They would put the Chinese food in their pots and pans, and we would bring it home and heat it up. That's how it was done in the 70s and early 80s, the early days of takeaway food. You took your own pots and pans to the restaurant because they didn't do takeaways. And if they did do it for home use, you would have to go down there with your pots and pans. They would put the food in there for you.
I feel so sorry for you. I am a child of the 70s, and my favorite restaurant from a very small age I can remember was going to the local Chinese store, who was still owned by the Chinese guy and his wife and his 10 kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
These
and
guys
they were all working inside the back end, But I loved it, and we didn't have to take our own pots and pans. I'm just saying.
Well, you didn't if you sat in the restaurant. If you sat in the restaurant, you wouldn't have to
I
do
still
that.
remember chopsticks back then in the little paper wrappers.
I had chopsticks back then, but that was pretty much how it was done. And that wasn't in like some little Hicksville somewhere. That was in Canberra in Australia.
Really? This I would
and that
love.
Restaurant still exists to this day.
I am with Annie. I would love to see that.
The problem is that funding has been taken out of them. So now, like, I've seen so many kids go through the cooking courses and stuff that they have over here in the UK. Basically, what they do is they say, it's going to be curry week next week. So you all need to come up with a recipe, buy the stuff, bring the stuff you need, and then we'll make it together on our cookers. Mm-hmm. They don't teach them anything.
No,
they don't.
I remember when so the very first time I learned to sew, I learned to cook, I learned to do laundry, run a washing machine and dryer, and there was something else we did, and I think it was first aid stuff we started doing there. Was in a home ec class that I was required to take. It wasn't by choice, but it's one of the best classes I ever had because it taught me very simple, basic skills.
Yeah. Paper boxes for takeout in the 70s.
That's
not
what
in Australia there wasn't.
Oh, here in the US there was.
Wow, but you know, some of you guys also dump your rubbish in the ocean.
I don't stick my rubbish anywhere. You just watch where you're saying I stick my rubbish.
I've seen it. I've seen the barges go out.
I do not go advertising my rubbish all over the place.
But there is a dumbing down of the education system.
Yes.
And it is to dumb down the population. And that's why we've got processed foods with all kinds of chemicals going into them, because it does rearrange your brain cells and your body. And if you're too dumb and in too much pain to actually be able to answer back, then you can't complain when anyone's doing anything that they shouldn't be.
Right.
You know, it's a part of modern day slavery, which is also not paying people enough to live on. And force it, so that, and then saying, oh, well, they don't want to work and people don't want to work for us. Well, when people who own businesses need to pay, if they want to have staff, start paying them a living wage, a proper living wage, where those people don't have to worry about where their bills are going to get paid from, because then they can go to work and enjoy what they're doing.
The only trade-off, the only problem I have with that comment, and it's not to pick on you because I've heard tons of other people say it, and I do understand the basis behind it, because I agree that people should be paid a living wage. The problem is that then those of us that are consumers shouldn't be bitching about having to pay $5 more about something else.
Well, no, because it should be paid a living wage. You're not going to have money going up because everybody else is getting paid a living wage, and you don't have to worry about it. because you've
Exactly.
got the money there to do it.
Right. That's my
Mhm.
point, though. I mean, is I see too many times, at least here, I want a higher wage. I don't get paid enough. I can't believe I got to pay $2 more for that loaf of bread.
Yeah,
Well, wait a second. You can't have it both ways to a point, because we're back to the corporate greed thing again. But that being set aside, if you want something that's going to benefit you in the long run, you have to be willing to sacrifice that as well on your end to give it to the next guy, because it doesn't
exactly.
work unless you do it that way.
Exactly. But the people who are getting a living wage understand that.
No, I get that. I
You
get
know
that.
what I mean?
It's
And they don't complain about it. It's the people who aren't being paid properly that are complaining about
right.
it, because they
Right.
don't, they have to worry about it, you know? So, yeah. I mean, the biggest lie that they've
Right.
ever told us is about trickle down economics, because I can absolutely tell you that it doesn't work.
Tom Garvey. So the big question is, are we that old that we don't understand the modern world?
No,
No,
we
we understand
understand
it.
it. That's the problem. We do understand
Yeah.
what's going on. We can see it.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Sorry.
Of course. Of course.
See, in my
There's
class,
always one boy in home ec classes. Always.
we had 20-ish people, and probably a third or more were guys in mine. Whoa. Okay, that's a big word.
Ethnobotanical.
I know it. I'm just saying my
Okay.
brain was not ready for it when I
Okay. I
popped
was
it up
just
there.
helping.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep.
It's not bad for like 10 to 7 in the morning, you know.
Yep. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
I
see,
just
the problem is now that, you know, even to join the police force, you have to have a BA,
yes.
you know.
In order to teach in any of the community colleges down south, you have to have a master's degree now.
Mm.
And it's
But
like,
you tell me,
really?
you tell me how much a person who teaches at community college gets. And it's not as much as they get at the fancy universities or the colleges or anything like
No,
that.
it's
It's
not, but
probably a
they're not
fifth of that.
they're not hurting though either. I only know that because I was ASB president, and so I had to know those numbers when I was in college 20 years ago, mind you.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all of them. I mean, in fairness, you are correct. But back then, they only had to have a bachelor's degree. They didn't have to have a master's degree.
Yeah.
So it was different, you know. I'm with you. If I'm getting a master's degree, I'm gonna darn well get paid for having that master's degree.
Yes.
Or I'm not gonna go to work for you. I mean, that's just the plain and simple of it.
Yeah. So I said to my boys, I said, look, if you're going to do anything and you want to choose a career, go to college or university, but also have a trade. You know,
Well, and
both,
that's what
you know,
Cindy's saying. They're
and
saying there
that
are no
way,
trades.
you know, it doesn't matter if it's only a BA in English or whatever.
Right.
You know, you've got your BA. You can say you've got that on your piece of paper, but you've also got what you really wanted to do, which was the trade. You know,
Right.
and then people will take you a little bit more seriously because you got both. Unfortunately, my boys didn't do either of those things. Yeah, no. But, you know, they're finding their own way in the world. And it is what it is.
Right.
But I think forcing people to go and do something they don't want to do is a really bad idea.
Well, it is, because I mean, just put yourself in an everyday situation. You
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be forced into doing something.
No.
So neither is a 17-year-old or a 20-year-old or a 12-year-old. That
Yeah.
they're not going to like it. You know,
Yeah.
we had to get away from this mentality that kids were to be heard, not listened to.
Yeah.
You know,
Seen and
and
not heard.
when that's what I was thinking. I think
Yeah.
it didn't come out right. Sorry.
Go ahead.
But at the same token, I don't know. It was just weird because everything kind of just weirdly changed, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just, I don't know. How's that sound?
I get it. I do get it.
Well, we've been on here almost 2 hours, my friend.
have.
So I think it's time to call it a night.
It's been a really good conversation.
Very good conversation. Thank you, everybody that showed up. Thank you, anybody that has been in here to, excuse me, mod tonight. Congratulations on the second episode, my friend. I think that's
Thank you.
wonderful. My soon-to-be celebrity friend. When you're out at Las Vegas and you're chit-chatting with Tom Garvey over there, don't forget who I am, okay?
Why would I be in Vegas, man?
Because all
Seriously.
celebrities go to Vegas, don't they?
I don't know if I'm even a celebrity. I mean, like, I walk out my own door and I don't think that I am.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here. It was kind of quiet tonight. We have HOA going on, and there's a lot of people at that. So
there really is.
I very, very, very much appreciate you guys coming in, and you didn't have to, and you took time out of your evening for us. So thank you.
Yeah.
Or morning or afternoon, wherever you're at. Which is the point of this, which is our global friends, whether they're US, UK, Australian, Germany, Switzerland, Canada, Mexico, I don't care. It's the point of what we're here for, is to have a nice chit chat. This turned into a great chit chat. So thank you for the information. You, my friend, I thank you for coming every time you're here. I appreciate it.
All good. I'm awake anyway.
All right. Until next week, my friends.
Sayonara.
Have a good night. Thank you.